Hi there, it's March 17, 2018. This is Andrew in Omaha, Nebraska. And today I'm working on a leather messenger bag that I was commissioned to make. And I'm hand sewing the entire bag with the exception of the shoulder strap. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to do a quick demonstration of how I do the saddle stitching. Everybody's got their way to do it. This is the way I do it. So basically I use a stitching iron to punch my holes, which I will not have shown in this video, but I had already punched my holes in the flap. I'm going to be showing how I actually do the saddle stitching. Basically I'm using the polyester tiger thread, these John James needles, and I'm slowly working on a video of the construction of this bag. It's been really slow going, so hopefully I have that out in a few days. So, but I hope you enjoy the saddle stitching demonstration. Here are the pieces that I'm going to use for the demonstration. They're the gussets of the bag. They're both finished, at least for this step, but I don't know how well this is going to focus in on, but the stitches are all uniform all the way around. They all point the same direction. That's what the back side looks like. It has a suede liner on the bag, and this piece, this little flap here, is not going to be attached to anything. So that's why I put the line of stitching around it before I stitch this down into the main bag, because the main bag is going to attach to these little ears here. But I don't ever want this suede liner to peel up on the owner, even though it's been glued down with barge cement. So I think it's going to stick for a very long time, but now it's going to stick forever with the stitching in place. But here is the thread. It comes on a spool. This is a large spool, and I think they're run around anywhere approximately $35. But you can order smaller amounts of the thread, and I get these from the Rocky Mountain Leather Supply Company out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And you can buy smaller amounts of this thread on these cards, and I think this is like $10. But the tiger thread, it looks like that's the package for it. But it's the best hand sewing thread, I think. I also have some black and some white that I use as well, but it's just great. It slides through the leather smoothly, and you will tear your leather before you break that thread. It's polyester. I think that's the same material that they use for the thread in the sails on sailboats, and it's even stronger than this nylon thread that I use in my machines. So it's very cool stuff. Now I'm getting ready to start this line of stitching. When I thread my needles, some guys will pierce the thread and pull it through and tie a little knot. I don't bother to do that. I've never found that to be necessary. This is all I do. I just take, there's the thread. I just run it through the eye of the needle. Just fold it over a little bit, and that's it. And I rarely have the thread pull out of the eye of the needle, and I've never found it necessary to tie a knot wool using this wax polyester tiger thread. All right, I'm 2 stitches into this run, but I start with my right needle. I do it the same time every time, so I make the stitches uniform, but I start with the needle in my right hand. I pass through and bring it out to the left, and I'll keep that needle and that thread forward, and I'll always leave a little bit back here, and you'll see why in a moment. Now I take the needle on the left, and sometimes I'll pull up the threads like this, but there'll be a little corner here right underneath the thread, just perfect to place the needle in. Now it's starting to pass through. One thing I always usually do is I back the thread out just a little bit. In the event that you pierce the thread and don't realize it, that's when you're going to find out if the needle is in fact inside the thread. Anyway, when you back the thread out that way, you can pull the needle out of the thread and then free it up so you can pass through. Now, I always have the loop above the needle. I pull it through and complete the stitch. Now, I'm going to try to pierce the thread on purpose just so you can see what that looks like. So now the needle's coming through. It's kind of tough to pull through the leather. I'm just going to pull it, and as you can see, I pierced the thread. But since I backed it out, I'm able to pull the needle back, take it out of the thread, drop the needle underneath the loop, and complete the stitch. And there's 4 stitches in. They all look exactly the same. And that's what I'm looking for.